Thank you, Tanara. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Monique Alabi. I'm the membership coordinator here at AIAA. I'm also a point of contact for the Mentor Match program. Many of you already know this, but the Mentor Match program launched in October of 2020, and it was really designed to help foster member growth and connection. It's an exclusive member benefit. So today's session is designed to help you make the most out of mentorship relationships. So if you have any logistical questions about the platform, feel free to email me. I'm happy to help with those. I'll drop my email in the chat below, and I'll also drop the link to the Mentor Match program if this is the first time any of you are hearing about it. So thank you again, and thank you, Tanara. Thank you, Kira. Actually, before I let you all go again, encouragement to join us on camera and to participate verbally. Okay, well, I'll cede the floor. Thanks.
Thank you. And it may just, the chat may be just an issue for me, but if you have a question or a concern, a question about anything, feel free to just unmute yourself as Kira noted earlier. So we want to have an opportunity for you to speak and to connect with each other. And so we're going to put you in pairs in the breakout room to answer the two questions. What do you hope to gain from mentoring? And what do you think makes a good mentor relationship? You'll have 5 minutes with your partner. You'll have a 30-second timer appear before it's time to return to the room. And yeah, just have fun and choose this question, one of these two questions, both questions, or another question. So we'll see you in about 5 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. So I was wondering if you, either in the chat or if you would come live to share what you're hoping to gain from mentoring, or what do you think makes a good mentoring relationship? Ekaterina, I butchered your name. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry about that.
No, that's totally right. So yeah. So you wanted me to speak up?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'd love to, if you'd like to share the answers to either of these questions, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I think, for example, for me, it's important in, this mentoring relationships for a mentor to give you the tools, not a direct suggestions what to do, because we need to learn how to assess our situation, how to understand how to make, let's say, strategic planning, how to advance your career, and that actually will be a really important tool later in our life if you do understand how to do it. So I think this can be one of the most important tools that we can get from our mentors. And for me, it's also important when mentor, is open about all the options, when your mentor doesn't say to you, okay, you need to do this and this. No, because even if you speak a lot with your mentor, it doesn't mean that mentor knows 100% the right thing for you. That's not possible. And I think, it is important to discuss all the possible options for your mentor to be open-minded, not to say, okay, this is the best way to go. No, that doesn't work like this.
Thank you very much, Ekaterina. I feel like you just set the stage for the rest of our time together. I really appreciate it. It's such an important point that your mentor is only one piece, an important piece, but one piece of the puzzle of your goals, of your career. So thank you very, very much. And would anybody else like to share? What do you hope to gain, or what do you think makes a good relationship? Either in the chat or coming live. Philip, you look like you have some questions, or you've given us a lot of thought.
To be honest, I was in Katerina's group, and her answer was so much better than mine. I really didn't want to pitch in. No, I came at it from a very different perspective, where, especially when you're moving into a field, it can be, if you're fairly junior or you're moving into a field, it can be difficult to understand what sort of all of the options, both in terms of your career and just in terms of projects you could undertake or people you could work with. And having someone who can guide you through sort of scoping all of that out so you don't need to find out for yourself the hard way could be quite valuable as well.
You raise a really good point that you can speak with a mentor about any number of topics. So if you're a high school student, it could be, what college should I be thinking about, or how do I best set myself up for college? If you're in college, what internship should I be thinking about? If you're in the first stages of your career or any part of your career, it's still a question of what's next. And so your AIAA mentor could be a great resource for any of that. So thank you, Philip, for sharing that. So we're gonna go on. Is there something in the chat? Lucy has placed a question: how can I become an AIAA fellow? Lucy, is that a question that you've gotten from someone, or was that something you'd like to speak to?
Just trying to prompt the people in the room I visited.
Okay.
Chime up. So these were questions that they brought up in terms of what they were looking for from mentoring. So Greg or Jamie, if you want to chime in, feel free. If you don't, no pressure.
Yeah, and at some point, if Lucy or Monique or anyone from AIAA here, if you can speak to how someone on today could become an AIAA fellow, that would be great. And we will answer the other question of how to be a good mentee. So thank you for teeing that question up. So our focus for today is how to build a high quality mentoring relationship with your mentor. Your mentor could be very busy and they are offering their time. How do you provide value to your mentor so that it is a relationship of exchange as opposed to one way? And we'll also talk about some best practices for the mentoring conversation. So we'll talk about how you can maximize this experience or this opportunity and focus on how you can focus on building a high quality, high trust relationship, how you can enhance your leadership capacity by learning from your mentor. And also there are ways that your mentor could learn from you. That no matter what stage of your career or your life, that you can show and offer leadership. You don't have to be at the end stage of your career. We'll also talk about how you can increase fulfillment related to this with new support systems, tools, and resources. And so if you take a moment and just think about the question, take 30 seconds. What do you think makes for a high quality mentoring experience? Maybe you have been a mentee before. Maybe you have friends, relatives who have either been a mentee or a mentor. But if not, what do you think makes for a high quality mentoring experience? Alex, is this something there's for the AIAA fellow question? Okay. So I will come back to that, Alex. Thank you for that. But I'm just wondering if any of you have any thoughts about what makes for a high quality. Did someone want to, Lucy, is there something you wanted to say? Or Jamie, is there something that you'd like to say?
I'm not sure what would make the best experience. I've never really had a mentor apart from like informal relationships with professors in college or anything like that. Lockheed, where I work, does have a mentoring program, but it's pretty much it's on the mentee to like lead that relationship, or I guess, or like however much involvement you want them to have, which makes sense because you know what your goals are and they can't do that for you. But I kind of struggled with like, well, what do I say to them? Like, what do I do? Because it's on me as the mentee. And I was like, well, I feel like I don't know anything. Like, what should I do or ask, or how should I even make this happen? So I kind of just like let that fizzle out. And I was like, well, maybe one day I'll come back to this because I don't know what to do right now.
Okay, well, I'm going to check in with you later on and to find out how you're feeling now about the mentor-mentee relationship after we go through this and we talk about goals and networking and all of that, because we want to make sure that you feel set up for success. All of you feel set up for success with the AIAA mentoring relationship. So thank you, Jamie. And Michael says, I'm not so sure what to look for in a mentor relationship, to be honest. I really appreciate that, Michael. And so again, we will, spend some time going through how to set up a relationship, how to make the most of it. And Bharavaj says, I'm with Michael too. This is my first time actively looking for a mentor as well. And so as we go through this, I hope that you see that it is really about relationship. If we take away mentor, mentee, it's about the relationship, and that you have something to offer your mentors as they have to offer you. So before we do, I just want to read what Alex put in the chat about becoming an AIAA fellow. You must be an associate fellow at the time of the current deadline, be in good standing. And Alex, if someone's interested in applying, they meet all this criteria, would they email Monique, or is there someone?
There's a period. It's considered a membership upgrade process. We have different, I'll say statuses in quotes because that's not really correct, but we have different designations within our membership. And a fellow is considered to be a very high membership designation. And there is an, I don't remember the time of year that it happens, but there is a nomination period. It's not open right now, but it's open once per year. And during that period, you would have to be nominated to be selected to receive the fellow membership upgrade. So right. It's all, I can drop the link on the website, but it's a process, and there's lots of criteria to it.
Okay, thank you. It looks like Monique dropped it in.
Thank you, Monique.
And I'm going to pronounce your name. If I mispronounce it, please correct me. Debarajit. Am I anywhere in the ballpark? Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate the thumbs up. He says, in the same boat and figuring out what to look for in mentors as a mid-career employee. So we're going to keep moving. Thank you so much for sharing your questions. So the guiding principles of making the most of this relationship are, one person can help another by sharing experiences and a different perspective. So notice that it doesn't say the mentor can help the mentee by sharing experiences, or the mentee can help the mentor. It's one person can help another. So the mentor has already walked the path that you're traveling on, no matter who you are. But we really want to stress that both of you can benefit from this relationship. Either talking with the AIAA staff, there was an example shared of a mentor had trouble with a social media or something related to the internet or something like that, and the mentee was able to show value and help the mentor. So, what are ways that you can think of in that respect? The mentee, you are naturally creative, resourceful, able, and capable. Nothing is wrong or broken. There's no need to fix anything about you. That you or someone seeking more information from someone who has that information. And that is, a valuable aspect of this relationship. The mentors, the AIAA mentors, have signed up because they want to be of value and be of service to you. So it's important to go to them as that you are equal and capable and are looking for resources and to build relationships, and using, there's the first relationship with them it could be the launching point for relationships, for other relationships that will benefit you throughout your career. High quality mentoring relationships are built around reciprocity, where both the mentor and the mentor enter with a sense of curiosity and openness. The power is shared. The assumption is that both parties will benefit from mutual growth and learning. We are entering a time where many of you know a lot more about social media, about apps, about a whole number of things that you could share. I definitely learned a lot about Kira. I think I probably reach out to her, every couple of weeks about how do you do this or how do you do that? And she's a great resource for me. So what are the roles in the mentor relationship or the mentee relationship? The mentor's role is to get to know you and to build a connection, is to help you to think through and reframe challenging situations. So instead of thinking, this feels impossable, the mentee is a thought partner with you of what are some steps that you could take, or when I was a mentee, or when I was in early career, these are the questions that I had, and these are the steps that I took. Maybe you can consider taking those steps as well. The mentor will share expertise, such as around budgeting or accreditation, will encourage you to see new possibilities, will provide visibility for you. So maybe there's someone in the mentors network who could be of service to you because you're interested in a particular school, a particular program, and could make an introduction between the two of you. So, that's one thing that the mentor could provide. Well, the mentor could give constructive feedback to you on how are you presenting yourself? Are you, do you express curiosity? When you come, are you prepared with the homework completed that the mentor may have given you? That there's a sense that you're an active participant in the relationship and then in the role of mentee, as opposed to passively just receiving information from the mentor. Maybe you're out reading articles, you're Googling your mentor to find all about them and what are their latest publications, what are their latest speaking engagements, and asking questions about that. They're making time at least monthly for you for the mentoring conversation. In terms of your role, you have just as much of a role as the mentor, and it's to get to know the mentor and build a connection. When you go for your first meeting, having learned as much as you can about your mentor on LinkedIn, on the internet, on the site of whatever company where your mentor may work, that the mentor has a feeling of, oh, okay, this person is seeking and looking for information, but at least they have taken the time to get to know me, as opposed to showing up and saying, I don't know anything about you, but I'm here to just consume information. You're initiating action in the relationship and setting meetings and agenda. Today I would like to talk about, I have a question about, can we meet next on April 15th, or can we set a time for our next meeting? You're wrecking opportunities for your own learning and growth. Maybe you've gotten feedback from teachers, professors, from your supervisors, and you want to raise that with your mentor for more discussion. You're asking for constructive feedback. How am I coming across to you? Do I seem engaged? Do I seem curious? Do I seem prepared? I have a resume. Would you mind looking at it? Is it free of errors? Does it look compelling? What feedback could you give me on my resume as I apply for this job? That you're following up on commitments. If your mentor is taking time and making suggestions, are you following up to say, I accomplished that homework assignment that you gave me, or this really difficult thing came up and I wasn't able to, but I will have it done by X date. You're making connections with others to foster relationships and expand your network. So someone said, Ekaterina said that the mentor can't be everything. The mentor is a good place to start, but what are the other resources? Who are the other people in your life and in your extended network who could be of help to follow up from recommendations, suggestions from the mentor? And you're looking for opportunities to reciprocate. Perhaps your mentor said, I read this article on X and I cannot find it, but you have really good research skills and you can find that article and share it with them. Or they mention offhandedly that they're looking for a particular resource. Maybe you can find that, or you could connect someone from your network with your mentor to say, I remember you said this, and I wanted to connect you with my friend, my mom, my professor, who can help you with that particular question. So again, I want to make sure that if you have a question and you want to come forward and ask it, or if you have a comment, feel free to unmute yourself and do that. So one of the key things about the relationship, and again, there's mentor-mentee relationship, but it's really about the relationship. It's important to establish a sense of connection and trust. And so we have this quote here: opening yourself to others requires risk-taking and trust. But without it, people are less likely to build the deeper relationships that lead to both success and more happiness at work. So is it easy for your mentor to get to know you? Do they feel a wall when they ask questions for further reflection by you, or for more information? Do they get yes or no answers? Or do they get thoughtful responses or even, I don't know, but I will find out more about that? So again, it's really about reciprocity. And we'll keep moving, but if you could think about, what are some of the ways that you think there are to build connection and trust? And some of you may be new to mentoring, to being a mentee, but you have friends, you have family members, you have people that you connect to and relate to. What are some of the ways that you have used to build connection and trust that you may build with your mentor? One of you mentioned, a professor. What are some of the ways that you built connection and trust with that professor? So there are going to be people throughout your life that you want to get to know, that you don't know, and it may feel intimidating, it may feel vulnerable to reach out, but what are some ways that you could think of to build connection and trust? So if you just take a moment and text that in the chat, or again, if you'd like to come live. And the Barajit, I see your box lit up, and I'm not sure if there's something you'd like to add, or and if so, feel free to come forward.
I don't know why it lit up, but I can say that for building connection and trust, one of the things I like to do is, maybe if something reminds me of them, or if I see something that they might be interested in, just share that with them and say, hey, I thought of you when I saw this. And that seems to maintain and strengthen the connection.
Thank you. Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, it's such a easy way. You read something, you're likely reading some of the same articles, the same sites, and to share, it says, even if the person has already seen the article, that you took the time to think of them and send them something, that it's about asking for help, but it's also just sending an article without looking for anything in response to them from time to time, just sharing an email, saw this and thought of you. So thank you, Debarajit. So building trust and connection is about being open about what your goals are, what challenges you might have. Perhaps your goal is to having the strongest application you have for your next level job, and yet you're feeling a little stuck. Maybe there's a gap in your work history. Maybe you had to leave a job after a short amount of time. Your mentor can be a resource to help you reframe your challenges. So sharing what your goals are, whether they're short term, long term, whatever stage of your career you are, your mentor is there to be a support. It's being respectful of the mentor's input and time. The mentor may say something that you don't see the value in. Maybe you disagree with a suggestion. It's really just taking that in and thinking, yeah, I could use A, B, and C, but I've already tried D. So I may not try that again, or maybe the mentor has presented in a different way so that you want to give it another try. Or you share with your mentor, I tried that and this is what happened. Do you have any suggestions for how I might approach it differently this time? Show interest, learn about your mentor's specific role, and as an individual, your mentor is going to have valuable information to share about their journey to where they've gotten to. So you do not need to go in and be an expert about to being a mentee. The goal is for you to learn. So if there's one thing I hope that you'll take away is that you do not have to have all the answers to go to your mentor. You know, it's following through on your commitments, and it's upholding confidentiality. Your mentor may share something very personal with you in service of your development, in service of the relationship. The last thing you want is for your mentor to hear that you shared that with other people and then it got back to your mentor. And you also want the mentor to uphold your confidentiality as well. Lucy has said, my favorite thing that came out of our mentor session was a comment that the most valuable conversations can come from walking side by side to a coffee shop rather than across a desk table. So as things are opening up and as you feel comfortable, you can meet with your mentor in person. And as Lucy said, go for a walk. Excuse me. Excuse me. Go for a cup of coffee or something that just kind of opens things up and makes it less, fraught of I have to have this right. I have to be perfect. And so if you look at the mentoring conversation as an opportunity and that you are interacting with another person, not, some perfect person, but another person, another human being, that really takes some of the pressure off of it. And so the mentoring conversation is an opportunity. We relate, accomplish, lead, and develop others through conversation. And yet we give relatively little thought to the quality and nature of our conversation. So, how prepared are you going into the conversation with your mentor? How do you prepare for a mentoring conversation? Here are some questions to get you thinking about topics for the mentoring conversation. What would you like to talk about? Is it your goal and narrowing your goal, focusing your goal? Is it, as I've said before, is it that you want to get into a particular internship, a particular college, a particular job? Do you want to work for Northrop Grumman? And so your mentor used to work there and might have some insight into how to have the strongest application. Connecting the previous conversation with the upcoming conversation. So, you could say, the last time we met, we talked about, my application for college. I've applied. Now I'm wondering, what more can I do as I wait to hear whether I got in or not? Is there more that you think that I could send in to strengthen my application? Is there someone that you know who attended X school or is at Northrop that might be able to put a good word in for me, or that you could connect me with and they could get to know me so they might possibly put in a good word? What support might you request? So it could be, again, would you mind looking at my resume? Would you mind looking at my application? Would you mind reading my cover letter? Could you connect? I see on LinkedIn that you are connected to, Joe Jones. Would you mind making that connection between the two of us? Or how do you network? How do you build relationships? I really love to hear from you as I'm thinking about building my own network and my own relationships. What news do you have to report? Is it that you got into that college? Is it that you got that job? Did you have a great conversation with the connection that was made with your mentor's contact? Following back up is a great thing to do with your mentor, because otherwise they feel like I've just spent my time. I have no idea what happened. I don't know if it was of value. I spoke with a young woman and opened up my connections, my network to her. And then I never heard anything again. The person who connected us said, "Oh, yeah, she took an internship at your former job, but she never told me." And so it led me not feeling the greatest about that relationship, especially after I took a risk and opened up my network to her. How might you guide or contribute to the conversation? So if you're not getting what you want, if the mentor is answering question A, but you really have another question, how do you reframe your question or redirect the conversation with your mentor? This has been really helpful. I really appreciate the information you're sharing with me about X. I'm really interested in Y. Could you talk more about that? What appreciation would you like to express? A thank you email, a thank you note through the mail, a connection that you can make. So these appreciations do not need to cost money, but a person just saying thank you for making this connection means so much. Here are some best practices for the mentoring conversation. Bring real issues, concerns, and ideas rather than worrying about that you may be judged or misperceived, and really open up and share what's on your mind about your career, about your work, about your worries. Bring dedicated attention, bring generous listening, active listening, openness. One of the ways that you can do that is to say, I really appreciate what you're saying about this. It makes me think of this thing here. A feeling that there's a dynamic, there's a give and a take, an ebb and a flow. Give feedback to your mentor about what's helping and what else might be helpful. So rather than my AIAA mentor isn't really meeting my needs, what might one step be that you could take to redirect the conversation or the relationship that would be more helpful to you? And I gave an example of the person answers something that may not be as helpful, thanking them for that and asking, well, could you now speak to this thing here? Because if the mentor wants to be helpful to you, don't judge too quickly that your mentor will or won't be able to help you. You can learn from anyone and really actively work to find out who your mentor is and what they can offer you. Again, a search of them on their company's website, on LinkedIn, a Google search. Google has information about all of us. So we just want to take a minute to talk about SMART goals. And you may have seen this concept of SMART, SMART goals. One, whatever your goal is, you want to decide on a goal, work on a goal that is something that you want to accomplish. It's related to your long-term. I want to go to a particular college. I want a particular job. Is it specific? You could have 1,000 goals. I want to go to Cambodia, which is a worthy goal. I like to go, but is that related to your career? It's measurable. How will you know whether you've achieved your goal? I'm a coach, and so I ask clients, what does success look like for you? And for some, they may think, well, I don't know. It could be this, or I don't know. But really think about, what am I hoping for? And whatever your goal is, it's worthy. If it's to get into a particular college, then that is a measurable goal. You'll know whether you got in or you didn't get in. I want to get into 3 to 5 universities. That is a measurable goal. You got into 4 of the 3 to 5 universities that you wanted to get into. Is your goal, is it challenging but reasonable to achieve? If you say, I want to be the prime minister of Canada, and that might be an attainable goal, but for many of it, maybe not. Is it relevant? Is your goal related to your values and your priorities as a mentee? Again, you could have any goal. Any goal is possible. I want to learn how to cook a 3-course meal. That is a worthy goal, but is it related to your career? So I imagine you have this board, above your workstation that says, I want to achieve this. This is my vision. This is what I want to make real. What are all the things that I'm needing to be able to make that true? Is it time bound? Is it time bound? So you want to achieve your goal by when? If you are applying for colleges now, do you want to get into college in 6 months, or do you want to get into college in 8 years? So really just being specific, having a measurable goal, making sure that it's attainable and relevant to your career, and making sure that it's time bound. Again, there are short and long-term goals. Kira placed the SMART in the chat, because we are going to place you into another breakout, and I'd like you to just experiment with identifying one short-term goal and one long-term goal, or one short-term goal or one long-term goal. It does not have to be perfect. It is just taking a little time to just think, what might the goal be? It does not have to be set in stone. What you write here today may change. It may change tomorrow. You may be partnered with someone and they set a goal and you have a similar goal. You think, I like the way he, phrased that goal. I'm gonna take that and work with that a bit. So again, this is light and easy, but can you identify one short-term goal and one long-term goal, or can you identify one of either the short-term goal or the long-term goal? Any questions before you go into the breakout? Okay. Kira, could you place everyone in the breakout rooms?
Yes, I can. And we'll give you 10 minutes. Does that sound good to you, Tanara?
Yeah, I'd say 8 to 10 minutes.
Okay, let's make it 9 to do in the middle of those numbers.
Okay.
All right, you'll have 9 minutes with a partner. And as Tara said, the SMART goals are in the chat, so you can reference them. And I've seen people taking some notes, which is great. I just wanted to, I don't think we mentioned this, but we'll send you this deck and all of the materials we used today after the session, so you have this to look back.
Before you go, Cyrus, did you have a question?
No, I didn't. I was just unmuting myself in preparation for the breakout room. Sorry about that.
Okay. No, it's absolutely fine. I'm glad I appreciate your excitement about this, and would love to hear how it was for you when you come back. So thank you very much, and we'll see you when you get back.
All right.
Welcome back. I think we just have a few more people we're waiting for.
They should all be back in pretty much right now. There they come.
So welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Michael, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I guess I kind of am. And you also have the opportunity to say, no, Tanara, I don't want to. I'm wondering how you're feeling now. Do you still have the same questions that you had before, or basically any of you? How are you feeling now?
Well, I guess I'm thinking I should try to look into the mentorship to find a mentor, I suppose, because it's something that I put off in the past. So I think I'm more encouraged to try it out.
Great, thank you. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the network and your network and building that out. So yeah, so thank you. How was that for you to write down and share your either short-term goal or long-term goal or both? Did you already have one?
Are you asking me again?
You, Michael, or sorry, thank you, Michael, for clarifying. You or anyone who'd like to answer. Did you have a short-term goal or a long-term goal when you came in today?
I developed more. I thought about it some more, and now I think I thought some more about what a goal could be for this kind of relationship. So that helped me out to think some more about it.
Good. Yeah, that's great to just, this is the start, you thinking of how could your mentor be of the greatest help to you or of any help to you. So thank you. Baravaj, how about you?
I had a great opportunity to discuss with the Barijit about how we can come up with our own short-term and long-term goals. I had an idea of what I wanted before that, but again, I'll just repeat what Michael said. The conversation helped clarify what we are looking for and come up with specifics on how it should look towards the end.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to either share your goal or just share what that was like to work on that? Maybe you partnered with someone and they had a goal and it helped you to come up with a goal for yourself or refine your own. Okay, we'll keep going. So I want to talk about leadership and networks, and you may think, what does leadership have to do with this, or what does networks have to do with this? And that at least in our company, we look at leaders at all levels, that anyone can be a leader. You don't have to have a specific title to be a leader. That successful leaders build connection with a select, diverse group of people, and then they leverage those relationships in a mutually beneficial way. And I've been talking about that throughout this of how is it a give and take, and it's to achieve better outcomes and enhance well-being. And but your mentor, again, to Ekaterina's earlier point, is that it's just one node in your network, and each of you has a network. I used to think that a network, networking was about going to a really dry and boring event with people I didn't know and gathering, 5 to 10 business cards and then going home. But you would be surprised at the network that you already have. And so here is a map of your network. Your network is simply people that you know and you have a relationship with. Some you may have a closer relationship than others. Some it may be have been a few years since you were in contact. And the best thing about your network is or the best way to utilize your network is to engage with them before you need them, because no one wants to just be reached out to when someone wants something or only if someone wants something. So your network could include your colleagues. That could be your high school classmates, your college classmates, your work colleagues. It could be your social networking friends. You could post, "I'm really looking for a job at Lockheed. Does anyone know anyone there that you could put me in contact with?" So, I'm sure you probably have hundreds and hundreds of friends on Instagram or maybe Facebook. I'm not sure. I know it seems to be more for an older crowd now. Family and friends. Your mom may have gone to college with someone at a college where you want to go. How do you leverage that? It could be if you are in the work world, your clients can be a part of your network. Your alumni association, the education group that you belong to, your alumni association, you volunteer at your church, your synagogue, your community, your larger community. So anyone that you know can potentially be a part of your network. And on this call, you've been in breakout groups with a number of people. You all could now be a network for each other. You hear Baravaj, you're in a breakout room with Philip, and Philip says, I really need to meet someone at this, at this internship. And Baravaj, your dad has, a friend from early childhood who works there, and maybe you connect Philip. Or, Michael, you have a college professor that you're very close with who published their paper in a particular journal, and you have a friend who's interested in being published. And so maybe your college professor could be a mentor for your friend who's trying to get published. So just as you're thinking about your mentor and providing value to your mentor, it's how do you nourish your network, not just for transactional purposes, but that they have a feeling that you see them, that you value them, and that when you need them, they're more likely to answer your call rather than, oh my goodness, here's Tanara again, just asking me to open up all my contacts and just give them to her. I haven't talked to her in 10 years, and now here she is reaching out to me. That person is less likely to respond to me because they just feel that it's transactional. So any questions about any of that for anyone, or anything comes up for you about that you have a network and that it's just noting what that network is, that is vaster than you could ever imagine. It's like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. It's somebody knows somebody knows somebody, and you probably have a connection who probably is connected to Michelle Obama or something. Okay. Is there a question here? Okay, Cyrus says he needs to step away for another meeting. I think, oh, he's already gone. Debarajit said, how do you maintain and strengthen a large network? Great question. I would say look at the network as individuals rather than you know, all of it. It's some people you're going to be in closer contact with than others. Some people you're going to be, depending on your specific goal, you're going to be in more contact with, and then you may not be in as much contact with. But just as with your mentor, sending an article from time to time, I thought of you and thought you might be interested in this. Just sharing simple resources that you come across on the internet, sharing resources, just all the examples I gave about showing value of being of value to your mentor. It applies to your network here. You're someone likes chocolate chip cookies and you're a master baker. Maybe you cook a batch of cookies and just drop them off or put them in the mail. Or someone likes a particular song. Before we got started, Monique mentioned a particular artist that she likes, a jazz artist, and I asked about who that is. So maybe your mentor or someone in your network mentions that they like, I don't even know, Taylor Swift. And you say, did you know that Taylor Swift is coming to, your local place in the next 3 months? And the person didn't know that. That is providing value to your network. So it doesn't have to be of money. You don't have to buy the Taylor Swift tickets. It's just letting them know that, and this is really about just you providing the value of you, that no matter who you are, no matter how much experience you have something of value to show other people. Okay, so we're gonna keep going and we're gonna put you in one last breakout and probably maybe about 6 minutes. If you could take 2 minutes looking at this map that I believe is also in the chat, filling out maybe 3 boxes of who you could place, who's already in your network that your memory has been jogged. Who could you add to community, volunteer interest, and alumni, or 3 other boxes. So if you could just take 2 minutes and write as much as you can in 2 minutes in people in your network, and then we're just going to put you into a breakout for just a chat about it, about what you learned, what was surprising. So you'll have until 4:18, and then we will put you in a break for about 4 minutes. Kira said, if you have any trouble seeing the slide while you're in your breakout, she sent it to your desktop. She posted it to the chat, and you can save it to your desktop, or you can go ahead and take a screenshot of the slide on the screen. While you're doing that, I'm going to answer Lucy's question, can a network get too big? I think if you're not in regular contact with the network, I think that's a really good question. I think it's just being intentional about the network. How are you using it? Who's in it? Are you really in contact, or are you only in contact when you need something? Are they only in contact with you when they need something? So yeah. Lucy, does that answer your question, or do you think any follow-up questions to that? I think the biggest thing is just being intentional. I'm a Luddite because I don't know what the in real life versus not, and then the P, I don't know.
Really, it's just a smiley face with the tongue sticking out.
Oh, okay, thank you. I just see a P.
I don't know how to, oh, wait, there is an emoji button in here. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely, Barbash. Absolutely, Barbash. That's absolutely right. You have to frequently evaluate your network. Is it, is it nourishing you? Is it providing value? And you're part of other people's networks. You're part of a number of other networks. Are you feeling that there's an exchange, or are you feeling that someone's only reaching out when they want something from you? So you want a network that works for you.
What I found helpful is on LinkedIn when I get requests from people that say, maybe don't say anything at all, or if they just say like, oh, look, we went to the same school, let's be a connection. I don't generally accept those personally, just because I'm going to be scrolling and like look back in a few months and be like, I don't know who they are. But I had 2 seniors from my college reach out to me and say, hey, I see that you work at a place I'd like to work at. Do you have any tips or advice? And they actually like started a conversation. And even though I haven't met them, like we were in school at the same time and there's a few years behind me. So I'm like, okay, I'll engage with them. I'll talk to them. I can, help them out. But I want to be adding people that, I at least know.
That's a good point. I have some people on LinkedIn. I have no idea who they are. Like, I have no idea. And over the past couple of years, I've stopped accepting invites unless someone says, hi, Tanara, I met you at X event. I'd like to join your network. But I have people who are in careers completely unrelated to what I do. We have nothing in common. And so it feels like I'm just being used to build numbers. So really great, important point, Jamie. Also, it sounds like the difference with your the people that you mentioned is that they didn't ask you outright, hi Jamie, you don't know us and we don't know you, but could you put us in contact with somebody at your job? And I did this application. They said, how do I make the biggest impression? What tips do you have? And so that feels different than, can you open up, connect us with somebody and we don't even know, and you don't even know who they are.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, they were very appreciative. I felt like I was able to help them. So I'd rather invest in something like that than someone just clicking add. And then I'm like, I don't even know who you are. And I try and do the same. I try not to, if I meet someone like you, like, I'm not going to, I mean, no offense, but I'm, after this meeting, I'm probably not going to, remember your name unless I like send you a message on LinkedIn and be like, oh, hey, this webinar was very useful for me. And then I can, look back and remember, oh, okay, that's how I know that person. So I try and, do the same to other people that I would like them to do to me. It's not just clicking add just to add.
Exactly. Thank you. That is a really great point. And so I thank you for that, Jamie.
Tanara, can I chime in on something that Michael Reed said?
Yeah.
This is just a personal experience. So at the last organization I worked for, we had this editor who had been there for like 14 years, I think. And we went through some restructuring and he lost his job. This guy had never touched any kind of social media, period. Like, he was unfindable. It drove me crazy because we were good friends, but I couldn't find him anywhere on the internet. So I drive up to the grocery store one day and he's right in front of me. And I said, oh, Brian, I heard the news about your job. If you ever show up on the internet, find me so I can, vouch for you. And he said, oh, no, don't worry. I'm finally joining the internet. I'll send you a request on LinkedIn. I think there is value there. You have to be findable. You never know what's going to happen. You got to be out there.
I agree. I have a friend who he's in his 60s and he is not, for privacy issues, he's not on LinkedIn, he's not on Facebook. It's almost a little like neurotic about it. And he's like, do you think that's a problem? I was like, yes, I do, because people want to be able to do research on you. If there's nothing on you, then it just raises flags about what's going on there, right or wrong. It really raises flags. So I don't think you need to be on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, but just something that gives a little sense of who you are, what you're interested in, because they're trying to figure out, are you a good fit for us? So
right. You got to be somewhere. People need to know you exist.
Exactly. So we are going to put you in groups for just 4 minutes, and then just have a chat about how was that to write out your network, and what are you going to do once you leave here regarding your network or your mentor. So Kira, if you could put everyone in the groups.
See you back here in 4 minutes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I hope that you had great conversations. I'm seeing smiles. That's always good to see. And as we wrap up this our time together, I just like you to think about, either put in the chat or just think about for yourself, what is one action you will take after this session? We talked about goal setting. We talked about building your network, of mapping your network. We talked about providing value to your mentor. We talked about a number of things. You will receive this PowerPoint after this, so to digest and use as a resource. So just think about that question. Also, that we are part of your network. You're part of our network. We're all part of each other's network. So there's that. In closing, I want to say thank you to you for joining. I'm trying to pull up the chat. Deborah Jit said he's going to be more deliberate in mapping my network so I can identify where I might need someone. So thank you very much for sharing that, Deborah Jit. So Denzel Washington said, show me a successful individual and I'll show you someone who had real positive influences in his or her life. I don't care what you do for a living, if you do it well. I'm sure there was someone cheering you on or showing the way, a mentor. So you all are mentees, but you can be a mentor to someone else right now. And one day you will be a mentor in this field. So take risks, take chances, use this PowerPoint as a guide, listen to this recording, and go out there and connect with your AIAA mentor. They are there waiting for you. You do not have to be perfect or have all the answers. So thank you. Okay, look at the chat again. Monique has put a link in on how to get involved in the mentor match program. Michael said he's going to find a relevant technical committee for me to get involved with. That's awesome. Thank you, Michael. And if there are no other questions, I want to be mindful of your time. Thank you for joining today. And I hope that you will just go out there and really engage with your AIAA mentor. Thank you, Michael Reed. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. And good luck and the best to all of you. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'd be happy to connect with you.
Thank you all so much for coming. We'll follow up soon. And thank you, Tanara and Kira, for putting this together for us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. this webinar. It's really incredibly useful.
Oh, thank you, Ekaterina. I appreciate that. Thank you. Good luck to you. Good luck to all of you. Thanks, Philip. Thanks, Baravaj. And thanks, Deborah.